The Great Salt Lake is the largest saltwater lake in the Western Hemisphere and is the remnant of Lake Bonneville. It is a terminal lake with no outlet. The only way the water can leave the lake is through evaporation. The lake is sustained by three rivers that contain naturally occurring minerals and salts. So then, when the water has evaporated after reaching the salt lake, it creates a salty inland sea. The lake has been an important part of Utah's landscape and environment for a long time, utilized by humans and animals. Scientists recognize its wide ranges of use. It provides a wide range of benefits, including tourism, mineral extraction, brine shrimp production, and wetland habitat. Most notably, there are 10 million birds that depend on the lake, coming out to 330 species of birds that need a pit stop through long migrations. The lake provides plentiful brine shrimp in a land devoid of predators, making it the ultimate resting place. For 15 years, biologists have been trying to raise awareness of the decreasing water levels of the Great Salt Lake. Scientists state the Great Salt Lake in Utah has been shrinking since the middle of the 19th century, leading to decreased area and volume and increased salinity. The decreased levels could have an impact on snow output, scientists state. A shrinking Great Salt Lake could impact the Wasatch Mountain snowpack in the future. More data is said to be needed to confirm this theory. The Great Salt Lake's water is utilized for many human activities, such as mining for magnesium and salt. U.S. Magnesium would like to extend its canals to intake 100,000 gallons a minute from the Great Salt Lake. Although the largest guzzler has been the animal agriculture industry, which uses 85% of the water which would otherwise flow into the Great Salt Lake. To be clear, cattle need 250 to 500 liters of water to drink per day. Combined with the plants to feed the cattle, such as alfalfa, it comes out to a single beef patty necessitates 660 gallons of water. As the lake shrinks, arsenic is exposed from the lake bed, which would then be carried by winds to the Salt Lake City area, which would then have devastating health implications. Let's listen to what health experts have to say.
My name is Matthew Hagemeyer. I'm a family physician, medical doctor.
Thank you. So, in the case of the Great Salt Lake, where arsenic is under the bed and it's drying up, the lake is, and the arsenic could be airborne, we wanted to know what populations could be affected the most.
The people that are affected the most are people with chronic respiratory conditions, primarily asthma and COPD, other respiratory conditions like pulmonary fibrosis. These folks tend to be most affected and have significant difficulty recovering from such exposure.
And the people who have less risk factors, who are also being exposed, what can they feel?
So acute exposure, usually irritability, irritation in the skin, the eyes, lungs, can cause joint pain, muscle pain, weakness, and numbness in their extremities.
And then what are the long-term side effects?
Long-term exposure can cause certainly chronic lung disease, but more importantly can cause lung cancer, cancer of the kidney, as well as liver cancer. So long-term exposure has acute effects that may persist, such as numbness or weakness in the extremities, but certainly cancer can be a long-term consequence of chronic exposure to arsenic.
Salt Lake City has already been experiencing some of the worst pollution in the nation, which are having negative health effects on people in the city. Utah has been criticized for its poor water conservation methods. Utah has prioritized the pursuit of new pipelines over large scale conservation programs. So, how do we fix this? There are some that may say decreasing meat consumption is going to fix the problem. After all, it is the most water intensive source that utilizes the Great Salt Lake. Although we should not devalue individual change, but we must realize the solution is past that. Systemic change is needed at the rate the lake is changing, that is, at a governmental level. New laws will need to be implemented to protect the Great Salt Lake from further water diversion. The citizens of Utah are already raising awareness to this issue by holding protests, and they need support from the general public, i.e., you, to make sure Utah lawmakers are halted from pushing policies based on economic interests. We, the people, have the responsibility to show Utah legislature that they are accountable for the actions they are taking on our behalf. It is important to show up to protest and show support for policies that are in the Great Salt Lake's interests for its habitat and health of citizens surrounding the lake, or companies known to be invested in profits will guzzle up the rest of the water in no time. Check out Save Our Great Salt Lake on Instagram to be updated on local actions.